Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, I am here with Michaela playing Ivory Silvergrinder.
Hello.
Another solo one-off entitled Caravan 47. As always, I am Will, aka Artificial, and I will be your dungeon master as usual. We just left off. We had our local heroes take down this giant clockwork construct, and it's being divided up and melted down to riches for the group, mostly for the group, but for the damages and fees, along everything else to help them out. Ivory is now in the council room with a few others, settling the finalization of the estate of their headquarters they have purchased in Homestead to set up their permanent little adventure shop. You are in the council room, as you always know it, with Lyle and Vivian working over some paperwork, and Savrak is there with you as well. They're just chatting over some formality stuff. When someone calls Savrak over to the side, and he goes over to investigate. A few minutes go by, and he comes back and lets you know that there has been a disturbance out in the desert of the north. And he was wondering if you'd be up for an adventure.
Sounds good to me.
He basically lays it down on the line, and the drow tells you, well, we have a dwarven stronghold up far north beyond the deserts of the north, and basically they send out caravans throughout the desert to reach what's needed supplies and to export their trades and such to the low-lying towns. Unfortunately, we have not heard any report from them. They should be in the town over by now, but we have not heard anything. We have sent a local guide falcon around, and the falcon has reported back that the caravan has stopped in the middle of, well, the desert, and of course the desert is a very harsh and unforgiving place and not very habitable. And we were wondering if you would like to go check it out, as the best we can do without sending a full-fledged party team out there is to, well, frankly, teleport you out there and see what's up.
I can do that.
Before they send you on their way, they basically want to gear you up with everything you need or everything you would want or need as expected from the Adventurers Guild. So, once again, your HP is up to normal. You don't know any magic, so we don't worry about that. Your AC is still 17. And unless you would like to change everything, you have your normal weaponry, your 2-foot short sword, your pick maul. You still have your ice staff. You still happen to have 3 instant health potions, your ale flask as always, and a basic adventurer's kit.
Can I get some water? I am going to the desert after all.
You can store a good canteen full of water in your adventurer's kit.
Alright, then I should be set.
Alright. Savrak introduces you to this new guy who's come in, who is a tiefling. His name is Relic. He is a orange tiefling that is bedazzled in about 1 million different gemstones and just shiny garments that are enriched in his guards and such. It looks like he's got about 1 billion pockets on his belts as well. The drow says that this tiefling here is basically, he's our traps expert in field magic. I'm thinking of a different word, but basically he's our field magic expert. And basically says he can probably teleport you as close as the falcon reported. He's not going to be precise here, but that's a far way to teleport, but he believes he can make you pretty close. And he also gives you this summoning crystal. He says, hold on to this in your hand for a good 5 or 6 seconds. It will glow. It will signify us that you need to be brought back. But I'm pretty sure we can only bring back maybe 1 or 2 people. So your mission is to practically get the caravan rolling again, if possible. Or report back and give us a full report kind of deal.
Alright.
With that, they usher you in another small little closet that you came in here with, like the ones at your little headquarters. And ask once more, do you need anything else before you go?
I should be good.
Alright, you step into the little door, and basically it's like a blinding flash from a camera. Next thing you know, you land to your feet like you were suspended in the air, like 2 feet up in the air, like you kind of just land. You are now in the middle of the desert. You are lit in the hot sand. It is very warm. There are no clouds in the sky, and it is just pure desert dunes. As far as you can tell, you are in kind of a little pit where dunes are surrounding your views.
Alright, Do I know the general direction in which I should be heading to get to the caravan?
You don't. You have no sense of direction right now. But as far as you can tell, you're facing generally north from the sun's positioning, and you believe that you should be close enough if you get up on a high vantage point to be able to see the caravan. Or at least you're hoping, anyways.
I'm going to look for the tallest dune I can find and climb up.
Alright. You have a little bit of struggle as this is some nice soft desert sand. You get up to the top and you get a good glance about. The outlying area just expands off into more desert. You can see rocky plateaus off in the far distance that almost look to enclose the entire desert as far as you can, well, tell them. As well as kind of a gorge that leads off into the distance. No real plant life or anything, you notice. It's just plain, rocky, sandy desert. As you scan the horizon, kind of getting your bearings as well, you see some mountains off into the distance, and you take, kind of doing a full 180 sweep, and you do notice what looks like a flag just jutting out from behind a little sand dune. A big red flag with white stripes on it, just hoisted up. Like, oh, probably a good 50, 60 foot pole. Just looks like it's behind one of these smaller sand dunes, just in the distance.
I am going to go ahead and start heading. I don't see anything else.
Nothing relatively of interest.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start heading in that direction then.
You trudge over a sand dune or two, but by the time you get up to enough of a vantage point, you get up over to the dune that you believe was blocking your view. You can see now what is left of this caravan. There is a large, it looks, basically your best description of it is like a iron tank. These iron wagons. There's a large treaded iron wagon with seemingly that flag sticking out of the back of it, almost as if a distress signal. On the back of this main tank is this huge hauling rig that looks like, well, the best description of it, think of like one of those old-fashioned gas trucks with the big container ships on the back. It's really pretty wedged into the sand. It looks pretty stuck. The side of the payload at the back looks like it's had some damage to it, like it's been dented up or bent in or something of the sort. There is another just a single tank off to the side that looks completely embedded its front half into the sand, like someone has picked this treaded vehicle up and dunked it halfway into the sand, vertically. There are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smaller little, looks like single-personed tanks kind of scattered here and there. A few of them look to be toppled over, some of them look to be pushed around from the tracks they made, maybe by the winds, or maybe like it almost looks like the rig crashed and everyone kind of just swarmed around to stick close. And as far as you can tell, looks like maybe some shrapnel from about 3 of these small little personal manned tanks have exploded or blown up or broken to pieces for some way. As well as you take farther notice, looks like one more evidence of one of the larger tanks has just completely exploded to pieces. Looks to be just like something exploded inside of it. And that is your visual.
Well, since that is where the caravan is, I am going to head towards the caravan to see if I can find any remaining life forms or a idea of which direction they may have headed.
You start making your way. The closest thing to you will be some the shrapnel for the what looks like of two of the smaller bikes, and to your far right, the exploded single tank. Uh, Before you even get to any of the shrapnel, you do hear a voice ring out, "There! Over there!" You happen to look up at the big rig, and about where the flag meets the big rig, you see a small figure, as best as you can tell, kind of hiding behind a giant pair of binoculars, kind of pointing in your general direction. Uh, just kind of pointing at you. And
Okay. Hello there. I'm here to help you. What's going on?
"Get inside!" you hear him yell. "Quick! Inside!" As you see about two more figures pop out of that main rig and start waving their arms frantically and ushering you over. "Inside! Inside!"
Okay, I run over as quickly as I can, considering it seems rather urgent.
You hurry over, they instantly hop out enough to basically haul you inside this tank as quickly as they can and shut the latches behind them and promptly close and lock them. You are instantly faced in this small little tank that's about, well, it looks like seats about 4 or so. It's a pretty nice little setup. They look to be coal-fueled little battle wagons here. You were instantly, like, right up in your face is this large dwarf who you vaguely recognize as the general that would be organizing this party, General Dehat Fiend Fighter of the Fiend Fighter clan. That you have known in your days that the Fiend Fighter clan are notorious for their times of war and their battle, but more importantly, they are known to be the go-to dwarven clan for any sort of caravan missions. This specific general has got basically this nice scar over top of his face. He looks like he's about blind in one of his eyes. He's right up in your face. "You, dwarf, what are you doing out here? How did you get here?"
I was sent here to try and help you get the caravan back on its way.
Okay, he seems to ponder things for a second. "We were out here on a simple mission. Transport this caravan, this supply payload, from the keep over to the city towards southwest. We don't know what happened. We went through a storm. One of the caravans exploded. Next thing you know, we're stuck here. How do you propose we get back on track? As far as we can tell, we're stuck. We cannot move."
What exact... Can I do a perception check?
Certainly. What do you want to perceive?
What exactly caused it to explode?
Okay, roll to see if you noticed anything when you ran by it.
14.
Alright. You didn't get too much of a good look, because you did kind of run by it, but as far as you can tell, it just looks like to be torn apart. Excuse me. There's no obvious, does not look like something exploded. There's no obvious, like, charred marks or anything. It just looks like it's been ripped to pieces. Like, put in a tumbler kind of deal and just crunched up.
Okay. Well, from the looks of your tanker, it would look as though something attacked you rather than it just randomly exploding.
Oh yes, we are all too familiar with what we think is some sort of beastie who has been torturing us here. What clan are you with? He takes notice now, noticing you're a dwarf. Who are you?
I am Ivory. I am Ivory Silvergrinder.
He does not seem to know of the Silvergrinder clan. Yes.
Is that my actual clan?
Unless you would like it not to be.
Okay. I couldn't remember if you had given me a clan or not.
I hadn't given you official clan. I assumed you went with Silvergrinder unless you specify otherwise.
I like Silvergrinder. I'll go with
Okay.
that. I am Ivory Silvergrinder, accountant and side adventurer.
Accountant! Kind of gives you a look over.
I'm good with money. I like money.
I am Dehad Fiend Fighter, general of this caravan here, of the Fiend Fighter clan. To it's the three other dwarfs in the same little tanker as you all shout out, "Oorah!" in succession as soon as he says the Fiend Fighter name. We have a toll here of 8 mini bikes, 3 Delta tanks, and a payload. We are now down 3 bikers, 1 tank, 1 is inoperable, and the payload is stuck as well.
Okay, well, before I can work on getting you back on the road, I need to know what's attacking you, because if I...
Nope, you've gone quiet.
So what is attacking you?
As far as we can tell, we've never seen such a beastie. All we know is that it's large, and there's more than one of them, he says. But more importantly, we would get in contact with the stronghold, or back with the local town if we had our comm rune. Unfortunately, the rune only works in the main tanks.
And where are the main tanks?
We're in one of them right now, Delta 1. Delta 3 over there, he motions outside. There are no windows in these tanks as far as you can tell. It's the one that's upside down, and Delta 2 was the broken one.
Okay.
And the rune currently lies in bike number 12, over there by itself. We have no way to get that dwarf over here.
Okay, well, this dwarf is going to go after that dwarf.
Oh, you'd be a foolish dwarf to head out, especially when we have beasties about. Fiend Fighter clan prides itself, but that would be suicide, stepping out there, he says.
But you can't tell me what kind of beastie these are.
We didn't get a good look. All we know is that they were large, and they were something of nightmares, he says.
Okay.
But I
Well, I
believe...
don't really see how we have any other option except for one of us has to go out there and try and get to that room.
And that is the part we all fear, he says.
Well, I never have been known for my intelligence, so I'm going to go ahead and go for it.
He says, and I would be a fool and try and stop you, I suppose, as he opens up this hatch. You step out on top and get a good overview of the area.
Which one's the bike I'm going after?
He first holds up a hand to kind of stop you, and he says, Fiend Fighters, count off! You hear the oorah echo throughout everybody, and you see, from your position, one bike in the far distance next to the 2 destroyed bikes. One hand shoot up with a rune in it. He says, that's your target. He points, there's one over here to your right, one short just behind you, like you can jump on top of it from the tank you're on, and there's 2 more off to your far left. He points over towards the tanker that's in the ground, or half in the ground. You can see 2 dwarfs sticking up out of that one. You're with the general and 2 more dwarfs as well.
Okay. I am going to head off in the direction of the... Do I notice anything, or do I see any beasties?
As far as you can tell, all is quiet. It's like the middle of the day. Nothing seems out of the ordinary so far.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and head towards the rune.
The general just, he has nothing to say as he kind of just expects the worst, unfortunately. You climb down off of this tank, you take about 2 steps into the sand, and you just get a feeling something's gonna go wrong. You have to pass by 2 of the broken bikes to get to your target. How would you like to get there?
To the broken bikes?
Well, you have to pass through 2 broken bikes to get to the one you're going towards.
Okay, how broken are the bikes? Is there any way of repairing one for use?
Well, they're actually more like... They seem to be like single tanks, like single little tread wagons. Think of like an enclosed motorcycle on tread, so to speak. And both of them appear to be just ripped apart like the tank. They do not really appear to be fixable. Would you like to walk? Are you running? Are you standing your ground? What are you doing?
I am going to make a run for it.
Going to run straight for the bike?
Yes.
Straight for your target, anyways?
Yes.
Alright. The small dwarf in the bike is kind of half gotten out of the hatch and is like one hand with the rune outstretched and the other one kind of urging, like, come on, come on, come on! You make it over as fast as you can. You hear shouts and, you know, comebacks and hurry-ups from all the other dwarves all around. You make it just to the bike. He just instantly grabs you and pulls you in the bike as well and shuts the lid behind you guys. It's kind of a cramped quarters as these bikes are really only made for one person. But he instantly kind of semi-salutes you. Number 12, Fiend Fighter Clan. Ma'am?
Ivory Silvergrinder. Of the Silvergrinder clan.
Now you've noticed he's announced himself as number 12.
Do you have an actual name, or do you just go by number 12?
Well, of course I have a name, ma'am, but here in the Fiend Fighter Clan we do not want to get attached in case casualties of war ensue. That way we can continue on in our valiant ways without being distressed, he says. Which you now realize is just about the Fiend Fighter way. Don't get attached, and there's not as much loss until after the fact.
Okay. I hear you have a rune that will help. That could possibly help.
Yes, here he hands you this small little communications rune. He says, but it will only work in one of the tanks, he says. How did you get here? He now notices.
I made a run for it from one of the tankers.
No, you didn't come with us. How did you get here? Out in the desert.
I was teleported.
You have a teleporter, he says.
Yes, but it only teleports like 1, maybe 2 people.
I see, he says very hesitantly.
My objective is to get you guys rolling again.
Right. If you don't mind me saying so, ma'am, I would keep that teleport rune to yourself. We've been out here quite some time, he says.
I'm going to kind of cautiously back away from him.
You're more than certain that a lot of these dwarves have probably had a little bit of, or at least maybe some close calls with heat stroke. They've been out here maybe a couple days, and you're pretty sure the payload doesn't really have all the food in the world on it. Or water, for that matter.
I'll go ahead and offer him a drink from my canteen.
Oh, no thank you, ma'am. He holds up his own canteen. I'm well prepared.
Alright, well, since this thing only works in the tankers, I'm gonna have to make a run back for the tanker so it can be used appropriately.
Easier
Do you
said.
want to make the run with me?
As a fiend fighter, I would, ma'am, but going out there is no good, he says. To which, on cue, you hear a large crackle of thunder and some commotion from some dwarves outside.
Is it supposed to storm?
That's the beasties, ma'am, he says.
Oh, okay, they sound a little more terrifying than I had imagined.
He cracks open the hatch just enough to peek outside. You guys can look outside and see that a large, essentially like a sandstorm, is approaching quickly from the east. But this thing reaches up into the heavens like it's going to engulf everything. The clouds kind of have a purplish tint to them. Very strange of desert sand, but not quite unheard of colored sandstorms. With lightning illuminated the inside as this thing is barreling towards you guys and will be here before you know it. If there weren't beasties, it would be a thing of beauty, he says.
Those are unlike any beast I've ever seen. In fact, I can't even see them. It just looks like a giant sandstorm.
Oh yes, they hide in the storm. To which, through the thunder, you think you hear a large bellowing roar, large rumbling roar amidst all of the sandstorm. That's the beasties, he says.
I want to try and see if I can make out anything that's in the sand.
Alright, go ahead and roll perception to see if your dwarven eyes can tell that good.
No, I got a 10.
No, it is too sandy. It is too much of just storm clouds and wind. You cannot see any figures in this storm.
Okay. I want to teleport back home and see if they can give me any information on these things.
Roll a d20 for me.
20!
Alright. You reach down for your little teleport pendant and you see that your number 12 here is eyeing it very much. He says, "You're going home. You're leaving us."
No, I'm just getting some information. I'm coming right back. I need to know what I'm dealing with.
"You're dooming us," he says. He's getting a little bit upset.
Okay, if it will make you feel better, I will ride out the storm with you, but I've gotta go back and find out what these things are before I can fight them.
No one's seen what these things are. We've looked through our books. We don't know what they are. I doubt anyone knows what they are. They are not even. They are not creatures. They are just things, he says. Storm is getting closer. The thunder increases as well as you hear another one of those large guttural bellows.
And I can't see.
You can't see in the storm, no.
Okay, I'm going to bid number 12 a farewell and try and make a run for it back to the...
Back to the main tank.
Yeah, so the amulet can be used appropriately.
Alright. As soon as your feet hit the ground, he says, "No! No, miss, please!" As the others see that the tankard see what you're doing. "No!" Some of them are shouting, "Go back! Go back!" Some of them are saying, "Come on! Come on!" They just want you inside, as far as you can tell.
I am going to I'm going to hold my little ice thing.
Your ice
my
staff?
Little ice staff.
Mm-hmm.
In my hand and make a run for it. Kind of ready to use it as a form of a shield if I need to.
Alright, do me a d20 for grip.
17.
Alright, you manage to hold on to everything as you try and make your way as fast as you can through this sand back towards this main tanker. Before you know it, these winds start hitting you and things get hazy real quick. Your vision is literally cut down to like 10% visibility. Everything has practically disappeared in this little bit of a purple haze of dust. You're right next to one of the broken bikes, but you're pretty sure the tank is still in front of you, like you haven't changed directions or anything. But you can't see anything.
One of the broken bikes?
Yes, the one
Can I get
closest
into
to the tank. As far as you can tell, this thing will not really provide any cover. It looks to be cracked open. You still hear the dwarves shouting, "Come on, come on! We're over here!" They're...
I'm gonna try and follow the sound of their voice to safety.
You start making your way, trying to kind of shield your eyes a little bit from this dust and this wind, as another giant bellow is heard, even louder than before, as a giant crack of lightning strikes not far beyond you guys, enough to illuminate this giant figure, this snake-like serpentile figure, just looming through this dust like a whale breaching out of the water as it disappears as the lightning fades away. You manage to find the sides of the tank, to which the dwarves promptly haul you up and inside.
I hold out the amulet. Why'd it have to be snakes?
Oh, I wish it were snakes. I wish it were, one of the dwarves says. The general swipes the comm rune from you and instantly plugs it in and starts trying to make contact over the radio. Static.
Okay, if it's not a snake, but it looks like a snake, what is it?
We don't know, they say.
But you seem like you do.
It's hard to explain. It's like it's the desert itself, one of the dwarfs says.
The desert itself is coming to life.
No one seems to disagree with that.
Where's my wizard when I need him? A wizard was supposed to come with me, but I guess I ran off before he could.
You now see the general get all flustered.